Stephen A. Smith is never one to hold back, but this time his critique was particularly sharp. The sports commentator didn't mince words when he unleashed his frustration with the WNBA, targeting both the players and the league's leadership under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Smith's comments highlighted a deeper issue that many fans and analysts had been quietly feeling: the league's failure to recognize and support one of its brightest stars, Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just about a single questionable decision, it was a wake-up call. Smith's critique exposed how Clark, whose record-breaking performances had electrified the league, was being ignored by the very organization that should be championing her success.
You didn't want to, rather. You were a bit hesitant and reluctant and resistant to it. So much so you didn't push for her to be on Team USA. So much so you had people like Cheryl Swoops who didn't even want to mention her name.
Imagine a league where its most exciting, game-changing player seems to be actively held back by the very organization that should be helping her thrive. Caitlin Clark's historic debut season brought in record crowds and skyrocketed viewership, breathing new life into the sport and revitalizing the fan base. Yet, instead of seizing this moment, the WNBA's response was surprisingly muted. Fans are now left wondering, can the WNBA capitalize on its growing potential, or will it keep stumbling along? This isn't just a momentary lapse, there are deeper issues at play. As we dig into these challenges, it becomes clear that the league is at a crossroads. And Stephen A. Smith is not holding back when it comes to pointing out what's at stake if things don't change. When Stephen A. Smith speaks, especially with his trademark passion, people listen. This time, his focus was on the WNBA, particularly its leadership under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert and its veteran players. In a fiery critique, Smith accused the league of failing to recognize and capitalize on Caitlin Clark's incredible potential, a player who had electrified the court with record-breaking performances. His words struck at a deeper issue: the disconnect between the talent on the floor and the decisions being made behind closed doors. Smith wasn't just upset about one isolated mistake, his frustration pointed to a troubling pattern. How could the WNBA allow its brightest star to be overlooked? How could a league with so much potential fail to fully embrace the talent that could push it to new heights?
But if you went the opposite direction, it could have helped that much. And facilitated you being in an even stronger position to get yours. But you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Wow.
A recent example of the WNBA missing the mark was during Assist Week, when the league completely overlooked Caitlin Clark's record-breaking assist total. How can someone break a major historical record and the league forget to highlight it? It got so bad that the tweet celebrating her achievement had to be fact-checked and later corrected. This wasn't just a marketing mistake, it revealed deeper issues within the league. When sports analyst and commentator Michael Smith called out the league for this, it wasn't just about recognition, it was about respect, investment, and the league's ability to grow. His words struck a chord because they voiced what many fans and players had been feeling but hadn't always expressed. If the WNBA couldn't fully support a standout like Clark, what hope did other rising stars have? Smith pointed out that this wasn't just an oversight in promoting Clark, it was a sign of bigger structural problems. The WNBA's reluctance to embrace bold moves and showcase its stars highlighted an organization struggling to adapt to the demands of modern sports culture. Clark's impact was undeniable. Her games were can't-miss events, drawing in new fans while reigniting the passion of longtime supporters. But instead of capitalizing on this momentum, the league seemed unsure of how to build on it. This disconnect between the league's leadership and its growing fan base had consequences far beyond Clark. Fans were calling for more transparency, stronger promotion of their favorite players, and a clear commitment from the league to elevate the sport. Without these changes, even the most promising seasons could fade into the background. The issue wasn't just about boosting viewership. It was about building trust, showing confidence in the league's stars, and having a vision for the future. In a sports world where momentum is everything, Smith's call for change was urgent. The WNBA was at a critical moment, with Clark symbolizing the league's potential. The question was, would this critique lead to real change, or would it just be another missed opportunity? When Commissioner Cathy Engelbert appeared on national TV, many hoped she would voice strong support for the league's top players and offer a clear vision for the future. Instead, her comments left fans, players, and analysts confused. During her appearance on 60 Minutes, when asked about Caitlin Clark's impact, Engelbert's response was striking. "No league is ever about one player," she said, downplaying Clark's record-breaking season. While she may have intended to emphasize the importance of team play, it felt like a dismissal of Clark's significant role in boosting viewership, engagement, and fan excitement. Fans took to social media, disappointed that Engelbert missed a chance to celebrate a player who had breathed new life into the league. Her comments became even more perplexing during an appearance on CNBC's Power Lunch. When the topic turned to league rivalries, Engelbert focused on how they drive viewership, steering the conversation toward marketing and ratings. But in doing so, she overlooked a more pressing issue: player safety and fair treatment. Fans and players alike began questioning her priorities. This wasn't just a PR misstep, it was a clear disconnect between the league's leadership and the real challenges faced by players like Clark. While Engelbert talked about rivalries and marketing, players were dealing with inconsistent officiating and physical risks that could impact their careers. The league's reluctance to address these safety concerns raised serious doubts about its commitment to player well-being. Fans don't just want excitement, they demand fairness and integrity, the core values that any credible sports league must uphold.
It's a balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players, much more so than they were 5 years ago.
The WNBA is at a critical turning point. Players are calling for change, fans are demanding improvements, and analysts are paying close attention. The current leadership risks not only losing the momentum created by stars like Caitlin Clark but also damaging the league's long-term credibility. The big question is whether WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert can shift her focus from catchy marketing slogans to real, meaningful action. These leadership issues aren't isolated, they're part of a bigger picture about where the league's priorities lie. While Engelbert has made strides in raising the league's visibility, these moments of misstep show that her approach may not be enough to help the WNBA truly thrive. But beyond public statements and high-profile policy choices, there are deeper, more serious issues affecting the league's day-to-day operations, issues that impact every game, every player, and every fan. Two major problems stand out: inconsistent officiating and concerns about player safety. These issues affect the quality of play and fan engagement in a big way. Players and fans alike are frustrated with refereeing that can feel all over the place, sometimes too strict, other times strangely lenient. The lack of consistency disrupts the flow of games and creates uncertainty about how games will be called. But it's more than just an inconvenience. This inconsistency poses a safety risk. When players don't know how much contact will be allowed, they're more vulnerable to injuries, adding to the already heavy physical toll they face. Take Caitlin Clark's season as an example. With her high-speed style and aggressive plays, Clark pushed the boundaries of athleticism. But the way she was treated by officials raised red flags. She received more flagrant fouls than usual, a statistic that set off alarms for analysts and fans alike. Compare this with how the same fouls might be handled in the NBA, and you see a glaring difference. The WNBA's failure to consistently enforce safety measures and fair officiating has put not just Clark but all players at risk. Unfortunately, instead of addressing these critical issues, the league has often focused on more marketable storylines, like rivalries, hoping to grab headlines. While these stories might be exciting, they often overshadow the real, pressing problems that need attention. This focus on optics makes it seem like the WNBA cares more about creating buzz than improving the actual experience for its players and fans. The bottom line is clear: if the WNBA wants to continue growing and gain more respect, it must tackle these deep-rooted issues, like inconsistent officiating and player safety, head-on. Until it does, the league risks alienating both its players and its loyal fanbase, and the momentum created by stars like Clark may be lost.
Yeah, the one thing as a very long-term sports fan I know is that officiating and refereeing is always at the top of a fan's list, of the media's list. Obviously, not every, they're humans.
Not the drama of it. But when calls are inconsistent and player safety is ignored, the gap between what fans expect and what they get keeps growing. Take Caitlin Clark's situation as an example. Remember the technical foul she got for hitting the ring post? This isn't just about a single bad call or safety issue. It's part of a bigger picture, one where the league has to prove it cares about its players' well-being just as much as it cares about boosting viewership. Caitlin Clark's breakout season wasn't just about her outstanding stats, it was a signal of what the WNBA could achieve with the right support. But the league's response to her rising popularity showed there were some missed opportunities. Many fans were excited, watching and buying merchandise, but the league's marketing efforts didn't match the moment. Clark's rise should have been a marketing goldmine, but merchandise was limited and promotions were low-key. Fans were ready to support, but the league didn't capitalize on the buzz she created, and it wasn't just about merchandise. The league also missed a chance to highlight the real stories of players like Clark, both their personal journeys and their roles as advocates in and outside of basketball. Clark's story was more than just about her game, it was about her impact as an influential voice in her community. The WNBA had a perfect opportunity to share these stories and show how players balance being both athletes and advocates. Clark's influence reached far beyond just her personal brand. Her performances not only captivated fans, they attracted new ones, from college basketball fans to casual sports viewers. This attention wasn't just about her skill, it was about the story she told. And that's where the league missed the boat. With Clark's success showing the WNBA's potential to grow, the league now faces a critical moment. Will it learn from its mistakes and become a true advocate for its players? Or will it let these golden opportunities slip away? Clark's rookie season was a shining example of what the WNBA can be. But the league's response, from downplaying her Rookie of the Year award to the commissioner's questionable public comments, has raised doubts about its direction. Fans and analysts are now paying more attention than ever to the league's priorities. Clark isn't just a flash in the pan, her impact is a game changer. Her success brought new fans, boosted viewership, and showed the league's potential to reach new heights. But potential alone won't carry the league forward. If the WNBA doesn't act now, it risks wasting the opportunities Clark's rise created. This is a moment for the WNBA to address its biggest challenges, like inconsistent officiating and player safety. It's time to support star athletes, give them the recognition they deserve, and make sure the league is in tune with what both players and fans want. The window for action is small, but if the league does the right thing, the rewards are huge: an energized league, a loyal fan base, and growth beyond what anyone thought possible. Clark's journey shows the WNBA's potential, a league that celebrates its stars, listens to its players, and adapts to the needs of modern sports culture. The path forward is clear, but it requires leadership that prioritizes not just ratings and marketing, but also the integrity and well-being of its athletes. Only then can the WNBA turn these moments of brilliance into a lasting legacy. The time to act is now. Will the WNBA rise to the occasion, or let these pivotal opportunities pass by? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.